What's up, guys? Handlebar Mike here with another weekly mustache ride. This mustache ride's all about tales from the campground. My wife and I, as well as a lot of our other friends, love to go camping. And sometimes some crazy things happen while we're camping. And we'll just talk about some of those crazy little stories. Today's story on Tales from the Campground is all about the Russian invasion. So a couple of years ago, I guess it was, we actually had a camping trip set up. I don't remember if it was the spring or the fall. We try not to camp during the summer because it's so damn hot down here in Georgia and humid. So we try to go in the spring and the fall. But we had a campsite set up, a camping trip set up at one of the national forests here in Georgia. And we try to go to a lot of the state forests, national forests, because I love having those resources available to us. It's one of the incredible things about this country is the thought and ingenuity that our forefathers had to create those national forests and state parks and everything else so we can enjoy what this land has to offer. But what happened was when we were supposed to go camping, our goddamn government decided it wanted to shut down. So there was a shutdown of the government because they couldn't agree on debt ceiling bullshit and everything, squabbling like a bunch of little bitches and whatnot about stupidness. Just do your fucking job and get it done. But whatever, the national forest was shut down. We couldn't actually go and stay because there was no staff there and everything else. So we scrambled around last minute and we actually found another private campground up in the same area. And we went and we called them up and they said, yeah, we actually have a couple of sites left. And we grabbed those sites, and there was 3 families going. So we got 3 sites for us to occupy at this campground. So we went up on a Friday, set up our tents and everything else, and life was good for Friday. And then we found out that the rest of the campground is actually rented out by, I don't know if they're all family members or not, but every year this group of Russians come and rent out the rest of this whole campsite, this whole campground. And Saturday comes along and they start just pouring in, and literally every other campsite in this campground was completely full from this one party. And they started setting up, there was a big field with a little stadium on it and whatnot, not stadium, but a little stage set up, and they started setting up there, and they started playing music and having food and everything else, and it was just a hell of a rager of a party. And it was cool. It was really interesting. I've never listened to that much damn Russian music in my entire life, but it was pretty damn interesting. And that rager went on into the night, and our kids are put to bed, and you know, we trained our kids well, pretty much sleep through anything, so they were asleep in the tents and whatnot, and we're all hanging out as adults around the fire having a couple beers and whatnot, and they're just playing music and having a hell of a raucous time and whatnot. And it's funny because randomly people would come walking up to our site and they think we're part of the group and be like, no, you know, das vidanya, no Ruski, you know, stuff like that. And they'd be like, oh, okay, just walk away and that sort of thing. It was kind of crazy. Or actually earlier that day, my buddy and I actually went out on a beer run, and we came back and all of our daughters had little plastic rings on. And I'm like, what the hell happened? He's like, I don't know, these boys came by and they gave the girls these rings. I was like, shit, we just married all of our kids to these Russians. So, you know, obviously it's not true, but it was a joke, you know. It was funny. It was funny, though. It was like, damn Russian gypsies coming and stealing our daughters and whatnot. But it was a good old time. The next morning, it was really interesting at the campground because as you looked around at all the Russians' campsites, most of them had these giant metal pots with like smokestacks coming out the top of them on their picnic tables, and they're all starting little fires in them and stuff like that. And it's actually a traditional Russian coffee pot called a samovar. And I was intrigued by these. I actually did a ton of research on them after because they were just cool as hell. You know, you think about our coffee pots, we have Keurigs and shit like that, and you know, plastic pieces of junk. And these guys have these incredible ornate beautiful you know, boilers basically to boil the water for their coffee and whatnot. And it was just really cool to see. And you can actually go online and see some of these some of the royal ones and whatnot. Some of the czars, they had them, you know, and they were like family heirlooms, and they cost a ton of money. And you know, like I said, we have these silly little plastic machines that make us coffee, and they have these beautiful ornate items. Even back in the day here, you know, in most of Europe, they didn't have They didn't have anything ornate to make coffee. You know, they had a pot, a percolator, that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool to see the Russian tradition of these samovars and whatnot. So go check them out. So it's just a quick little story. Quick little story of Tales, the first installment, I guess, of Tales from the Campground. I can't wait to tell you about our friend who seems to attract the crazies every time we go camping as well. There's some future stories. So with that, remember, I try to put out videos every Tuesday, and a mustache ride once a week is good for the soul.